Yo, yo, good morning. What's good with it? What's good with it, everyone? Let's see. Give me 1 second here, get everything set up properly. Almost took gold buys right here as that high was breaking there on the 30-minute, but daily candle wasn't bullish at that point, so I sat on my hands there. It's like, nah, I don't think that's gonna be a good idea. Daily candle is like kind of bearish right now. It's kind of in a little range. It broke the highs, I think. Hasn't broke the lows. It's respected the lows, but nonetheless, it's still bearish. And you know, I'm not ready to hop into it until it flips bullish. Staying very disciplined on my rules. But I think it should give 10 pips right here. Off of those highs being broken. Oh, what the hell? The hell going on here? Alright. Oops. Hey Bilbo, damn dude, it's been a minute since I seen you. Hope all is well, man. Joji, good morning. What's happening? What's happening? So bear with me 1 second, everybody. Just trying to make sure I get everything set up here. I think we're good. I think the only thing I need to do is this. I'm feeling great this morning. Crushed my workout. Oh, Joji, you're over in Australia. That's what's up. Not sure if you know 24K. 24K used to hop on the streams all the time. I don't know what the fuck happened to him though. I don't know, he like just fell off the face of the earth. But he's from Australia as well. Cool dude. He's a cool dude. Alright, I think we good. Oh, we got Jake popping in. Let me clear these charts out. What's good with it, Jake? How you doing?
What's good, Mike? How's it going?
Good, bro. Good. How's everything going your way this morning? Or
Yeah,
or today, I should say. It's not quite morning anymore for you, I don't think.
nearly. I think we're at 11:30, so we've got another half an hour and then it'll be afternoon, so nearly there, bro. But yeah, took another couple of losses this morning. Had a bit of a shitty start to the year, to be honest, this year. But I think I posted the losses in the group and got some good feedback, so I think I can see where I went wrong. So we'll journal it, review it, go again tomorrow.
Yeah, man, that's all you can do for real. Just chalk it up, learn from it, move on.
That's it. How about you? I suppose you're obviously not taken anything yet, but is it bank holiday today? in the US?
Yeah, it's Martin Luther King Day today. So we might not see much volume. Yeah, yeah, bank holiday here.
Yeah.
So we might not see too much volume with gold, but who knows? I mean, these pairs do what they want to do, so
Yeah, I've noticed that, I think sometimes you think, oh, bank holiday, I'm not going to trade at all. And then all of a sudden you get some volume and it's like, where the hell did that come from?
yeah, yeah,
And you've missed an
100%.
opportunity because you've not traded. But be interesting to see if gold closes above that zone.
Yeah, yeah, I was just looking at this like as soon as
Daily,
I
yeah.
opened up the charts, I was like, "Oh shit," I was about to press buy right there as it was breaking the high. But then I looked at the daily candle and I was just like,
Yeah.
I better
And
stick with
then,
my rules.
yeah, I suppose it'd be trading against the daily candle as well, which is why I lost actually. I took a buy a bit lower down. Well, actually, probably not too much further down. You can see to the left, just there, yeah,
Over here?
just there. Yeah, literally bang on there on the 15 minute as well. But it worked, made sense on the 30 minute too. But I think we can see where it made a lower low, really. It broke structure and then it was against the daily candle. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
my
you have
idea was
like
that,
this and then another like a lower low here. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly that. Yeah, my idea was that actually we'll continue the trend as a bullish trend, but it's, yeah.
Yeah, it could start to get tricky, as far as buys because I mean we had a lot of bullish candles, a bullish movement on the daily. Like we had this one little like bearish doji, on the daily, but that's kind of it. Other than that, it's been moving pretty strong bullish.
Mm,
So I don't know,
might be
but I
tricky.
mean it looks good. I mean, especially this 4 hour candle, closed with that strong rejection. This one's made the bottom wick. I mean, it looks good to keep pushing up the hourly, same type of thing. Looks good. Um, but yeah, I think I'd rather see it come up above this level, maybe even up above here, honestly,
Yeah, yeah, you're probably right.
just to be safe.
Are you still trading GJ? Because you've been super successful on gold this year, haven't you?
Yeah, man, gold's been really good. Like I took one trade on GJ so far this year and it was a loss, but but it's funny because I was looking at it last night, I was looking at the two pairs and like we saw this let's see, I think it was right here. Yeah, this was like Asian session last night where it like perfect, it just pulled back a little bit, formed support and then just kept going, and I was just like looking at it and like by the time I was looking at it, it was probably up here or something, I don't know. But anyways, then I flipped over to GJ and I was like, I wonder what GJ's done. And it was like this bullshit here. And I was just
Yeah,
like, man, like gold just moves so clean, like it,
yeah.
it can be tricky, but at the same time it just moves so good.
The moves just it just looks better, doesn't it? Like the price actions way cleaner, makes more sense when it trends. Whereas GJ, you just print side by side, and then you get like a gradual, slow move up, and then all of a sudden, bam! Like it just explodes out of nowhere. It's so
Yeah.
difficult to catch. Like usually goes without any confirmation and pullbacks and goes again, or completely reverses. Just chaos.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and that's kind of what I experienced like towards the end of the year last year, like when I started to take more trades on gold, like that's kind of what I was experiencing was, I was just like, fuck man, like GJ is just starting to get really tricky for me. Like it's harder for me to understand like where it's going, whereas like gold, like and I think like honestly a lot of it is you have to be a lot more patient with GJ. Like it takes a little bit longer for the moves to form. Whereas gold, like it can move 100 pips in a 30-minute candle, and that's not really too wild. So like what I've started to realize is like, so like, even for this example here, like how I have it marked up now, like, for me to want to take buys, I'd want to see price probably come up and close above here, but sells, on the flip side, come down and close below here. Like both of those could very well happen. Where it's like GJ, you never really know how much volume is going to be on the market. It could just fucking range all day. Whereas gold, it's a little bit more less likely in my opinion to see that. So, for GJ, like what I noticed is like towards the end of the year last year, I started to try and force a lot of trades, where it might not have been the perfect setup, and I was just like, fuck it, I want to take a trade.
Yeah, definitely. GJ definitely can make you force a trade if you want
Yeah.
to. It looks like there's a setup quite a lot. Even there, you can see like it's almost done like a little fake out with that bullish move up just at kind of 3 o'clock your time or 3 a.m.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, it's I feel like GJ's just it's been really tricky lately. Like the ranges are just really crappy, and it's been moving really good in London, I've noticed.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, gold's been treating me pretty good this year. But I also think it's really just being patient. It's really just like it's being patient and waiting for like what I want to see to happen. I
Yeah.
think that's.
How do you I've just noticed there that you can save text
Oh
on
yeah,
trade.
yeah. It's just in the templates. So like pretty much what I did is like I just I changed the color, the font, all this stuff. I put the text on there, and then I just saved it as a template. Save
Oh
as
yeah,
and then template.
I need to do that actually. Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier, faster.
Mm.
But yeah, these ranges on GJ, it's just
Untradeable.
yeah. Yeah, 'cause I mean even coming down, like we have clean traffic down, but at the same time it did like barcode in this area in the past, so yeah, I don't know, it's just it's too hard. GJ's been a little difficult for me.
Yeah, sometimes I mark up gold. Well, I always mark up gold first because I think generally there's going to be a better opportunity on gold than GJ, probably 9 times out of 10 whenever I look into the charts. And then as soon as I start doing GJ, I look at it and just go, ah, it's fucking pointless. Just sometimes I don't even mark it up, I just leave it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, I was really thinking about this right here, taking this
You
gold.
would have been, has it gone 10 pips? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think it would have played out. It moved a little slow though. I mean, I like that it was breaking a high right at like 6:30, so it's taken 15 minutes to hit 10 pips, it's pretty unlikely with gold. Usually you hit that shit pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah, it literally just broke above resistance, didn't it? Just.
Yeah.
The candle had no wick at the bottom, which is quite a bullish sign, isn't it? So,
Yeah, and I mean if you look at this 4 hour, the 4 hour looks really good, and then if you continue to the hourly it looks really good. So yeah, I mean it makes sense. It's just there was that one thing, that was holding me back, this daily candle here, and I was just like, ah, fuck, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
like
this is
those,
basically the move I wanted in London, but I think it was just it probably needed to retrace further before playing out.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and these, I mean, like that's the type of trade right there that like if I win, I'm like, fuck yeah, I won. But if I lose it, I will not forget about this daily candle being red. I'll be like, motherfucker, dude, you knew not to take that buy until that thing flipped, and you did it
Yeah,
and you lost.
that
So
was me. That was me today. That
yeah.
was me this morning. Shit was bearish, and I thought I lost last week trading against the daily candle, but fuck it,
Yeah,
I'll
it's
go. It's like, and then I lost again. I thought I literally dumbass,
yeah.
absolute dumbass.
Yeah, I mean it's a good thing to experience that though. I mean, like I always talk about, the pain of a loss, it's important to have, like that's why I always tell people like the best way to learn how to trade, the best way to learn how to execute in the markets is simply by executing, like you have to experience the pain of seeing red numbers, and taking those losses before you can really change, to change the outcome,
Yeah, that's it. Sometimes you need to do it multiple times, make that mistake to really drill it home. I'm someone that's got a terrible memory, but I'll learn with like repetition.
Yeah.
So sometimes the more times I repeat it, and I don't choose to repeat the mistakes, but when they do happen that way, I tend to learn. So it's not a bad thing. But I mean, gold's retracing a little bit now. So, but you would have got 10 pips, I suppose. But
Yeah. Knowing me though, if I would have executed on that, it would
good.
have I would have lost or something, it wouldn't have been good, but yeah, I mean like that's the thing, it's I mean like I went through that for a long time myself, where like I would I had like set rules in place, but like I would still go against them, and I would just be like so pissed, like emotional, like crying, like why the fuck do I keep doing this to myself, but I mean
Mm,
like that ultimately has gotten me to this point of being like not gonna trade against the daily trend, like if it gives 10 pips like it just did, like whatever, didn't
yeah.
didn't make sense for me, so I'm not gonna be mad about it.
I think sometimes what's difficult for me is when the daily trend is it's difficult to identify because maybe by the time I get on the charts, probably 6 a.m., I mean, the candle's probably been going for 6 hours. But if it's not clear and it's kind of not a doji, but kind of in between, you sometimes don't know which way the daily candle is going to flip. So
Mm.
it's sometimes quite difficult. But I suppose that's when you drop down to maybe the 4 hour. And if you looking at the 4 hour, I could see that it definitely was bearish. But compared to the daily, it was kind of in between. So it's kind of like it could maybe go either way. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's a good point too, is like, if you think about the difference between London session and New York session, I mean you essentially have an extra 3 to 4 hours of market giving data, So I mean that's honestly like one of the reasons why I stopped trading Asian session was because number one, the volume in Asian session is so wacky, but number two, it's like right in the right like as the market opens, I mean there's no real like definite direction as far as like what's going to happen, for that specific day. Sure, you can look at like the past days ranges, things like that, but a lot of times that stuff doesn't matter, I mean we could look at a massive daily bullish candle on the previous day, and then the next daily candle is bearish and takes out the previous four bullish daily candles, I mean there's like crazy moves that you can experience. So yeah, I mean that's a good point. It's you get a lot of data by the time you come into pre-New York. The market's been open quite a while.
yeah, definitely.
Let's see here. But yeah, it's who knows what we'll see this morning. It might be a little slow. Um, just with the U.S. holiday today.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it moves, what sort of volume we'll get. I'm not trading now. I'm done for the day, but I like to jump on the stream just to say hi and see what's up.
Hell yeah, it's always appreciated. Helps time pass by a little bit faster.
100%, man. I need to shoot off in 10 minutes because I got some calls, but
Yeah,
I'll
no
probably
problem.
be enough. Actually, wait, no, I don't. It's at 1 o'clock, so but I need some lunch.
Oh, we got PPI stuff on Wednesday. I don't think that does anything.
No, I tried to trade that before, and it's you do get a bit of volume, but I think it's not as clean as something like CPI. It can, if you do buy stop, sell stops, take you out both ways,
Yeah,
which seems
I think I remember that. Yeah, I think I've done the same. I think I tried to trade it before and it didn't please me. I strictly remember like the difference between CPI and PPI. And CPI moves, PPI doesn't, you know, so
yeah, yeah. No, I've done the same. I've done the same. Yeah, I think the only thing it does do is if you wait a little bit, probably brings a bit of volume into the market. So
yeah.
you could make a trade maybe 15 minutes, half an hour after if it creates some nice structure. But I remember trying to trade it with the buy stop, sell stops and got fucked.
Yeah.
Lesson learned.
Yeah. But I mean, just like I said earlier, you know, that's the best way to learn in the markets. You know, you gotta execute, you gotta fail.
Mm.
Fail forward. Yeah, I was looking at this on GJ. I mean, could potentially be like a buy opportunity with like the bullish close. It's like 17 pips above this wick, you know, but I mean, with the way this candle is currently, I mean, 4 or 5 minutes, it need to close a little bit stronger for that to happen. And it's like really just kind of in a sideways range here, so I don't know that that's the best opportunity here. It might be better to wait until it comes up here. This range. Oh, gold straight rejected though.
Mm.
Yeah, see, I do like if gold can come back below this level, sells down. I think that would be pretty solid.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be in line with the daily candle to the sales.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep, exactly.
No, I'm just going to go mute myself for a bit, bro, while I make some calls.
No problem, man. No problem. Let's see over here in the YouTube chat here. Joe Geelan in session today was tricky. Lost a trade on gold. Where'd you take the trade, Joji? If you can, send a chart. I'd love to check it out and get my feedback. Let's see. Chinese. I'm from Kenya. Joji, I'm selling a binary bot. It's probably bullshit. Chinese. KE. Joji, I may buy a Chinese boat, but definitely not. Yeah, I agree with you. So we got like 2 minutes until this candle closes. I like this rejection here. Like this rejection here on gold. I definitely think it looks good to continue down, but I think a better confirmation for me is going to be either impulse clearing out these lows or a nice closure below. Let's see how this GJ is closing. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so it is enough range to come up. I'm just not sure that I like the way candles are printing here. I think I'd rather wait for a move on gold, to be honest. Yeah, there's a lot of rejections here. Let's see what it does, just in case. Yeah, see, it's making a strong push down now. If it breaks these lows, I think it's probably going to continue bearish. You know, and that's kind of the game you play with this in this type of situation. Because while the daily candle is currently bullish, it, you know, this 4 hours got very strong rejections. 1 hour, very strong bearish candles printing. It is like making a move up, but it could just be the pullback on the higher time frames that continue bearish. So why telling this story across the time frames is very important. But I mean, at the same time, with this deep liquidity grab, if it goes and breaks the highs, I think it could definitely make that push up. Alright. Let's see, we got 29 people on here with us live right now. Only 8 likes. Go ahead and give a like. If you haven't liked the stream already, give a like. If you're new to the stream, do me a favor, subscribe, and make sure you tune into the future sessions. We're here every morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time, running at New York session. So far this year, we got 7 wins, 1 loss. We're rocking pretty good so far this year. So definitely want to make sure you don't miss out in the future. Not to mention, when you guys give a like to this stream and you subscribe, you're helping me out as far as reaching new people, reaching more people. I'm sure you guys know, but YouTube, the way the algorithm works is the more engagement you get on your shit, you know, the more people that are able to find your shit, you know. So appreciate all the love. Just know it helps other people. But yeah, so I think for gold, you know, we're probably going to want to wait until we see that candle come down, close below. For GJ, if we respect this low here, and we go and break the highs, I think we can come up to the top of this range. Move with willpower, thanks for subscribing, appreciate it. Appreciate that. Gold is much good because of daily bearish and setup is preparing for a sell. Yeah, I agree. I just want to wait for price to come down here below this level, 1915.40. Considering potential impulse entry as price comes down, breaks this low here, if that happens, but knowing me, I'll probably want to wait for it. I'll probably want to wait for candle closure. I like them extra confirmations. But I'm also considering these GJ buys if the high is broken here. If the high is broken here, I think the GJ buys would play out, especially with the deep liquidity grab that we had. With the deep liquidity grab that we had, I think that could definitely be good. Hey, y'all on YouTube, drop in the chat where you're from. Always curious to see where everybody's from. Oh, we got Zoom user joining. Interesting. Interesting. Hmm. Zoom user, have you took trades today? No, no trades yet. No trades yet. Just being patient, waiting for what I want to see. Then we'll take a trade. Oh, look at GJ. Yeah, it's probably gonna fall now. It's probably gonna sell off. Yeah, now here's the tricky thing with gold here. You know, we could have taken an entry there as it broke the lows, anticipating price to continue driving through this zone here, which is probably gonna do. But the problem with that, in my opinion, is you don't know if that's gonna happen every single time. You don't know if the volume's gonna be there. And on a day like today, where we have US bank holiday, I think it's difficult to anticipate that to happen. So I'm gonna stick to my plan. I'm gonna wait for the closure below, and if it just drops, you know, that's all good. Cute Wamboo Dree, thanks for subscribing. Appreciate it. What's this here? Yeah, I mean, as you can see with the rejection that we got here, you know, US bank holiday. Eli George from Connecticut. You know, I don't know that I might have been to Connecticut before. Might have driven through there, I think, maybe. Trying to think. I drove one time from New York to New Hampshire. Or maybe it was Vermont. Yeah, it was Vermont, Killington. I think Killington's in Vermont. But I drove there one time. I'm pretty sure we had to go through Connecticut. Which was insane. We went there to go snowboarding. And it was fucking insane. Why are you looking for buys above 1920 instead of 1917? Alright, so yeah, valid question. So let's draw this up. Let's mark that up. Put 1917 there. That's where I'm assuming what you're talking about. So if we flip to the daily candle, the reason that I'm not looking at buys above 1917 is because the daily candle is still going to be bearish at this point. And so the first place that I would consider looking for buys is once the daily candle flips bullish. So if we look at the 30-minute time frame, you know, that area where the daily candle flips bullish is right here, like kind of in this range. And so I decided, you know what? I'd rather just wait for price to come up above 1920.62, and then that's gonna make more sense to me for buys. The daily candle is gonna be moving bullish at that point, and then we're also gonna have candle closure above this zone over here. So it just makes a little bit more sense to wait for that to happen, versus, you know, waiting for it to come up above this range. You know, because I'm not sure if you were here earlier, currently happening, but you know, Jig talked about taking buys at this level right here as the candle highs were broken right here, and this is very valid in my opinion. This is a very valid setup. But the problem with this is if we flip to the daily candle, you can't really see it there. I think maybe I have to make it bigger. If we flip to the daily candle here, you'll notice that the buys were taken while the daily candle was bearish. And as you can see, you know, stop loss was hit. So that's just one thing that I've noticed, like with my trading, is I tend to win more. I have a higher probability of winning trades when I'm trading with the daily candle. If I'm trading against the daily candle, then I have a higher probability of losing the trades. And if you just think about it very simply, it's the difference between taking a trade with the trend and taking a trade against the trend. You know, so since I'm a scalper, since I'm an intraday trader, you know, I need to be trading alongside of the daily candle trend. You know, I need to be taking trades that are moving alongside of the daily candle. Taking trades against the daily candle is not to my benefit. Even if the higher time frame market structure is telling me one thing, but the current daily candle is telling me a different thing, it's irrelevant. You know, I'm a scalper, I'm an intraday trader. The big picture doesn't necessarily mean anything to me. I need to be focused on what's currently happening in the markets right here, right now, today. So hopefully that helps. Eli George, how far down do you think GBPJPY will fall? I don't know. Don't get offended by this, Eli, but I always laugh at questions like that because it's like, you know, who are we to assume what's going to happen in the markets? You know, there's a book called The Four Agreements. I highly recommend everybody read that book. But the second agreement is to never make assumptions. And I think that's honestly taken me very far in life, is don't make assumptions about what you think is going to happen. And if you think about that in regards to the market, don't make assumptions as far as what you think is going to happen inside of the market. We are nobody when it comes to this market. We're a very small piece of the financial system that's involved in this market. So to make assumptions about like where the market is going to go, where price might go, or to make an assumption as far as how far GJ will fall, you know, it's kind of a dumbass thing. You know, like who are we to do that? You know, who are we to make assumptions as far as something so big? So what I'm basically saying by that is I've talked about like a common analogy that I like to say as far as trading. And if you think about trading like riding a bus, you know, you sit at the bus stop, a bus comes, you look at the sign, it says it's going to Connecticut, but you want to go to New Jersey. So obviously you're gonna let that bus go by, and you're gonna wait for the bus that is going to New Jersey to come. And then once that bus comes that's going to New Jersey, you're gonna hop on it and you're gonna go along for the ride. So I take that same mentality when it comes into trading. I just identify zones. I just identify levels that I want price to come to, and then once price comes to that level, then I'm gonna start looking for an entry. I'm gonna start looking for that ride, to take me to my destination. So like for example here, so like for your situation, Eli, as far how far down do you think GBPJPY will fall? Well, if it comes down here and it closes below 156, 135 level, then that's when I'm gonna hop on the bus to ride down to 155.752. That's the next stop, So that's just kind of the way that I think about trading. I don't like to anticipate or assume things are gonna happen. Like, I mean, the cliche thing that everybody says, assuming things is making an ass out of you and me. I believe it, Why would you assume something's gonna happen? Just wait for the confirmations, So long story short, we have no fucking clue how far GJ is gonna fall. Daily candle's bullish, so I don't really think it should fall. I think it should continue bullish, but we just have to wait for price action to confirm that for us. Oh, live in New Jersey. I don't, that's actually somewhere I don't think I've ever been, New Jersey. Just no offense, I don't see any reason to go there. Currently happening, I started a YouTube channel. Any tips? Consistent, persistent action. Consistent, persistent action will take you anywhere with pretty much anything, honestly. But yeah, that's what I would say. I started this YouTube channel a long time ago. I think it was, I don't know, you can look at the page and it says, it says like when it was created or whatever. But even if you go to my videos and you just scroll way down, you'll see like the first video I posted. It was a couple of years ago, probably 2 or 3 years ago. And it took me forever to get traction. I didn't start getting traction on the YouTube channel until August of 2022. But that's also when I switched my niche on the YouTube channel. It's also when I switched the content. I started showing up more frequent. Yeah, so niche is very important. Consistency, if you're, for me, like I stream every day at 6:30 a.m. Eastern time is when I start the stream. If I don't turn the stream on by 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, there's literally people DMing me like, hey, are you going to be live today? So it's one of those things. It's like people always talk about as far as like a podcast. If you're going to release a podcast once a week, then just stay consistent every Monday at 5 p.m. or whatever day and time that's going to be. There's no right or wrong like frequency or date and time, whatever you want to think about, like as far as like how often you should be posting. But I guess what I'm trying to say is once you decide what that frequency and time is going to be, stay consistent with it, because that's what's, people are going to expect you to continue to release things, every Monday at 5 p.m., things like that. I made videos on current happening incidents, sports, etc. Yeah, just stick with that niche, stay consistent with it. If say for example, if you release something every day, I know a lot of people that do like what you're talking about actually. Like if you currently happening, if you look up, I don't know if he's got a YouTube channel, but he's really big on like Instagram and Twitter. But if you look up morning brew, kind of like your morning coffee, the morning brew, that is like probably similar to what you're talking about. It's more so like current events. It's like a private news channel, I guess. But he's been very successful with this, and like he talks about like his journey. I can't remember the guy's name, but he talks about his journey as far as how he was able to grow his channel, his email list, things like that. And that's pretty much what it comes down to, is just him being consistent. And like for him, it was releasing something every morning before 6 a.m. that people could open up their emails first thing in the morning and they could catch all the current events from the previous day. So, something similar to what you're doing, I think. Let's see. Okay. Gold coming down below that level. So now here's like where it gets a little tricky, is like, we have bearish candle and then bearish candle. Now if this candle closes good in this range, I don't know that I want to take a sell, being that it would be I would be anticipating that there's going to be a third bearish candle in a row happening. So I like to I like to take trades like in this situation. If there was enough, if this zone wasn't here, actually this is a better example. Give me 1 second here. Let me pull up my annotation. So this candle right here, this would have been like what I really would like to execute on. Something like this. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is that, we had, price come down, create a low. Oops, let me change the color. We had price come down, create a low, and then price came up, formed a level of resistance. And then, the entry would have been as it broke the previous candle low right there to continue to retest those lows. So notice how it's one bearish candle, and then I'm trading the second one. Whereas in this situation, it's one bearish candle, and then we're waiting for this bearish candle to close. But if it does close below this level, then we would be trading the third bearish candle down. So I'd almost rather wait for something like this to happen, because this little movement right here is going to create a bullish candle, and then we could trade the bearish candle down. So that's probably what I would rather see. But with gold, sometimes it just makes those moves. I just go to Twitter and see what's trending and make a video on it. Okay, yeah. Eli, yeah, 100%, man, 100%. Alright, while we're waiting for this candle to close, there's a couple of things that I'm thinking about. First off, if there was more time left in this candle, we broke the low, and then if this candle were to continue pushing bullish and come break the high there, man, this would definitely look good to continue making this move here, which I've executed a lot of times on situations like that, and it plays out like probably 90% of the time. But if this candle closes weak bearish like it is, then I think we can anticipate the next candle to wick down, and then we can trade, coming back up. That's an opportunity. Or, if we flip over to gold here, we have price come down, close below this level, we can take sells down. But it's rejecting, so I don't know if it's going to make that move down within the next minute or so. So we'll have to see. Eli, I work in New York City. I live right next to the Hudson overlooking Manhattan. That's awesome, man. My business partner actually used to live up there in New Jersey. Similar place, actually. Like, he would always go to this spot, probably where you're talking about, where it was like, it was right on the water, and you could basically just go overlook the river there. and see Manhattan. It's pretty dope. Pretty dope spot. The city like that ain't really for me though, to be honest. No offense. But yeah, I'm looking at this on GJ. I mean, I really like the rejections here, and I think it could make this push, but you know, I'm really not too sure. Yeah, and it's breaking a high like instantly. You know, this is where it gets a little dangerous. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna take that. No bottom wick. Broke the high instantly. You know, it could give 10 pips, but it's not something that I want to take part in. So we're just gonna chill. We're just gonna chill. And I mean, if we think about like how this candle closed, you know, we had this strong bullish pressure coming right at the end of the candle. You know, it was bearish, then it started to reject, and right at the close, you know, it pushed all the way up to make that like weak bearish candle. So I mean, it very well, you know, it very well could play out. I've actually taken entries like this on gold before, where it's like where it does this type of thing. It makes this strong, you know, it has a strong like bullish push towards the end to just have it close like a weak bearish. And I mean, it wouldn't be too bad. Stops would be like 16 pips or something. You know, first target could be the wick fill, would be like 7, 8 pips, something like that, and then you know, nice 20 something pips up to the top of the range. So I think it looks good, but I don't know. I have a little PTSD with GJ for some reason. You know, I got the I got the one loss on GJ for the year, and it's kind of haunting me. If it makes another bottom wick, rejecting the bottom zone, then break the high, then it would be a good yeah, I agree, Christine. Yeah, I would really like to see that bottom wick, but if you look at it on the hourly, you know, that was like the rejection. This is like a strong support right here, a lot of rejections here. And now it looks to be pushing up. Same type of thing on the 4-hour here too. But the problem with the 4-hour is like it's already made a push up and it's rejected. So it's a little tricky. And I think with that said, you know, it's just not worth me like taking a risk on, even though it looks like it's gonna give 10 pips. I have replaced GJ with USD JPY. As Raj said, it's good for beginners. I have more losing trades on GJ. Yeah, I mean GJ can be tricky, you know, but it's all just kind of understanding like you know what's likely to happen, what's got like the highest probability to happen. So like, you know, when I look at this, you know, I have a section of my trading journal that's like, don't take trades if this happens. And one of those things is if the candle breaks the high or the low in the first like seconds of opening, which is exactly what happened here. The other thing is if candle doesn't have like a bottom or top wick. So like that's what happened here, is like we have no bottom wick, as you can see. So at any point price can reject and go create that bottom wick. Or maybe this candle closes and then the next candle breaks down and then goes to create that, you know, that bottom wick down there. So there's a lot of things that could happen there that you got to be a little cautious about. But I mean, nonetheless, it looks like it's probably going to dish 10 pips for you. So if you took that entry like I was talking about, then congrats, but not for me. Same type of thing here on gold. You know, we have the bearish candle here. Seems to be, you know, like it's going to go break these lows, but at the same time it hasn't created a top wick yet. So at any moment it could go create that top wick. But at the same time, you know, It could not make a top wick and just drop 100 pips. You know, you don't really know. So that's kind of the thing, is really just game probabilities. Really what it comes down to. Yusuf Bekele, I think that's how it's pronounced. I hope. Thanks for subscribing. And we got 49 people on here live with us, man. We got a big crowd today. We got 26 likes. Let's get them likes up. We got 49 people on with us live and only 26 likes. That means there's at least, what's that, 23 people that haven't liked. Give a like to the stream, man. What's it gonna hurt you? We ain't doing nothing right now anyways, just waiting for candles to do its thing. Yeah, it's breaking down now. Yeah, Sean, if you take them entries, man, if you take them sells, you know, don't forget what I was saying. Hey, thank you, Sean. Thank you. I appreciate that 100%. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, for me, I'm gonna wait for the closure. I'm gonna wait for the closure, and if it busts through this whole range, it is what it is. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. As you can see, GJ kind of rejecting a little bit too, so you know, be a little bit cautious. If you took these GJ buys, you know, I would secure something at 10 pips 100%, which it doesn't look like it's quite gotten there yet. Depending on where the entry is, you got about another pip or two, but it should happen. And probably the same thing with gold, you know, if it starts breaking these lows, especially here at 1914.54, I think it'll probably continue. Hey, Abdullah Kadar, thank you so much, man. Like, subscribe, done. Thank you so much. Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, you know, like that's really the only way that we can reach more people. The way the YouTube algorithm works is, you know, the more people that engage, the more YouTube is going to share my stream with other people. But yeah, I'm thinking about the impulse as it breaks these lows here. 1914.48 stops above the previous 30-minute candle. Be like 1970, 17.39. Be like 29.30 pip stop loss. But I'm a little cautious about this because of the no top wick here, and this would be like the third bearish candle. But I think it could play. I think it could play. I read somewhere about you that you left job, what type of job you were doing. It hurted me as I've also left my stable career just a few days back. Yeah, you were probably reading my pinned post on Twitter. That's probably what you were reading. But yeah, no, so basically, you know, I just kind of like shut everything down like in August. Shut all my businesses down. I haven't had a job since like, I quit my job in like, fuck, I don't know, 2015 or something like that. But I shut all my businesses down like in August of last year, just to like focus on trading and start to remove myself from like the nature of the business that I was in. I was in marketing and sales and being at the mercy of other people, and you know, my face was the business, and you know, I just had to change some shit. I just got tired of it, burnt out from it. Trading is like what I'm really passionate about. Like I really love to trade, I love to stream. Like this is the shit I really enjoy. So I just kind of had to reevaluate. But yeah, I mean, it's all good. It's all good. One thing I would say is I definitely wouldn't you know, just rely on trading. Even if you are like super successful, it's hard. You know, there's a lot of emotions involved in trading. Like since I've shut everything down, so in August I shut everything down. I was like, yep, I'm gonna focus on trading 100%. That's the only thing. I don't give a shit about anything else. And since then, I've started a cleaning business, and I'm now today going to start a sales position with one of my buddy's companies, that I'm also like a customer of, that I've hired. So, it's one of those things where, like, number one, trading, it's not something like, for me, I've worked like 12, 15-hour days for like the last 10 years. Just working for myself, that's just kind of how the grind's been, and it had to be like that for me to get where I am. So, for me, it was like kind of like a culture shock. I started to feel a little guilty when when I shut everything down. I was just kind of like, damn, like, what do I do with my time? Like, this is weird. And so, that's when I started the cleaning business. I was like, I need to occupy my time elsewhere. And then after I started the cleaning business, I just got that to a point to where I could essentially replace myself, no problem. And, so now I'm gonna take the sales role here with my buddy's company, and I'm gonna start helping him grow, build out the sales team for that business. And basically what I'm getting at is that I'm just at a point in my life where, number one, I want to stack as much cash as possible. I'm young, and number two, I'm just kind of like feeling guilty for like being in this position of like just sitting on my ass all day. It's not what I'm used to. And I think a lot of it just comes down to, like, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I want to be financially. Um, Not where I want to be, like, as far as my investments. I really want to get like a lot of cash flow assets like developed, things like that. So this song, by the way, that's playing right now, man, it's like one of my favorite songs on this playlist. Where do you reside? Georgia, right by the ocean, Georgia. Gold already consolidating in the bottom half of the channel with supply above. Alright. Oh, whoa. Computer just froze on me. Alright, we're good. Yeah, relying on trading could be dangerous. 100%. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, there's just too much emotions involved. Like, if you're relying on trading, it's just, you're putting yourself into a position to where your income is very emotional. And from my past experiences, when I try and rely on trading to be the only source of income, I start to do dumbass things because I need the money. I need to pay my bills. And so that's why a lot of my focus has been, I love to trade. Like, it's not something that's going to go away. I think trading's absolutely amazing. I mean, if you can really understand it and get disciplined with it, I mean, you can excel to levels like that will just like blow your mind. I mean, think about like what people like Raja are doing, making 100K in a day, 300K in like a minute, I mean, that would change somebody's life, so being able to do that, I mean, even think about what he did with the $5,000 account, bringing that to like 50K in 3 months. You put yourself into a position where you understand the skill set so strongly that, you could lose everything and be fine. You could lose everything and still be able to get yourself back on the right track. So I think that's like the powerful thing about trading. But at the same time, you need to use the time freedom that it creates and the financial freedom that it creates to create other things, so you don't rely on trading. So like investing in real estate, investing in other businesses, like all of that shit's really important to me for the long-term game plan.
100%. I agree. Yep, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. How you doing, Christine, by the way? You have a good weekend?
Yep. Yep.
Good.
Just sitting here marking up my charts while you were talking.
Gotcha. Have you taken anything yet, or just chilling?
Nope, just chilling.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll be interested to see how price moves, since it's bank holiday today. So
Oh yeah, maybe some slow action today. Very slow, if
yeah,
any.
yeah, and it's kind of proving itself right now with just kind of the way it's moving, but we'll see.
So you already answered the question, but I wrote a question in the chat about do you feel like all those other ventures that you had going on were kind of like distractions from what you were trying to do in trading? Like having all
Um,
that, the other, like having another job or doing other businesses and trying to trade it while you were learning how to trade kind of slowed the process down.
yeah, 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 I could definitely say that. Um, I mean, I think a lot of it, the reason why I like had to move away from a lot of it is I was just burnt out. I've been in advertising and marketing like my my whole like kind of like professional career since like 2013. I've been in advertising and marketing, and it's never been something that I really like enjoyed. I never really gave a fuck about like it sounds bad, but like I never really cared about other people to a level to where like I would want to manage like something that like their livelihood relies on, so
Yeah.
it just put me into a lot of situations with like clients and stuff where I would just be like, eh, you know, you're kind of an asshole, and
And
it
I'm
just,
making you rich.
yeah, yeah, and so I would just, it just kind of like put me into a lot of funky moods, and my emotions and stuff were like dictated strongly about like, how my work was going, and so I just
Hmm.
like decided like, and it also like had to do with like me being like in the public eye all the time. I mean, like I have a big following on Instagram, and that's like kind of how all of my businesses thrived, was because of my social media presence. And that I just got
Interesting.
burnt out from that. I just got tired of, and it really started to happen like when COVID came around. I started sharing like a lot of my own opinions, my own beliefs that
Okay.
didn't really align with most of the population, I would say. And that's when I really, really started to realize, like, all right, like I need to start developing something else, because I'm being somebody that I'm not, because I
Mm,
need to make my clients happy, or I need
yeah.
to attract more business, or I would post something and then I would delete it because I'd be like, ah, fuck, if a client sees that, they're probably gonna fire me,
Yeah.
so
Yep. It's and mentally and emotionally draining. It'll like suck the
yeah,
life out of you.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of people that are very successful, through social media, like, through social media alone. But
Yeah.
where I see the difference is like they're very passionate about what they're talking about. So like for me, when it comes into trading or like powerlifting, like those are things that I'm very passionate about. So like I feel like I can speak my mind on those topics, and if it offends people, whatever, I don't really care. But I'm so passionate about it that like I want to say what I want to say about it. And so that's kind of like where I felt like I had the lack when I was doing all that shit on social media, was just like, I was like looking at what other people were doing to be successful on social media, and then I was just like, you know,
Yeah.
I should do
Yeah.
that. And then I would do it, and then I would just be like, I don't know. I just like, I mean, to sum it all up, I really just kind of felt like I was in a position to where I was being somebody that I truly wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really hard. And some people really get sucked into that, but then they're miserable because it's
Yeah,
not sustainable. It's really not sustainable to be filling in to be somebody else because you want what they have. You just have to figure out how to get what it is that makes your life work that also fits your personality.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, like through that business that me and my partner were running, that I shut down in August, like, I mean, I've made the most money I've ever made in my life through that business, but I was miserable. Like I was working all the time. I had clients pissed off at me all the time. I had clients that also were super happy and like loved what we did all the time too, but that didn't outweigh the people that like hated me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah.
it just got like very hard mentally for me, and it started like coming into like my relationships, you know, not just with like my girlfriend, but like my family, my parents, you know. My mom's like, "Hey, you know, we're going on vacation," and I'm just like, "Fuck that vacation," because I'm tied up in everything else, you know. And like,
Yeah,
so I really
right.
started to think about like, all right, what's the real benefit here? And I mean, like, I don't regret any of it. It unlocked a lot of things. I mean, it put a lot of money in my pockets that allowed me to, you know, start the cleaning business, to trade, and, you know, to do other things. But what I really realized is like, you know, I enjoy sales. Like, I like sales a lot. And it doesn't require me to be like the face of a company. You know, I can be Mike without, you know, having to be somebody else to be successful in that position, you know. So, you know, I definitely don't have any regrets about any of it. It got me here, put a lot of money in my pockets, um but it was just one of those things where I just like started to realize like, all right, this isn't the end all be all. And I honestly knew that from the beginning. You know, when I first got into like marketing and sales and all that shit, like when I was running my own agency for other people, I honestly knew like this isn't the end all be all. This is just a tool to get me to the next step, you know.
You know, the best part about that, and I don't really know a whole lot, like, oh, actually, I don't know anything about your personal life, but people get into those situations and they're like, oh man, I bought this big house. Now I got a mortgage. I got a car. I got kids. Now I can't leave. They hate their jobs, but like you said, they're making the money. So now they feel like they're stuck there forever. And then that's how you get into like something because you started people start getting the money and then they start tying stuff to it and they
Yep.
hate it. But now they can't leave because what am I going to do if I have a mortgage and I got kids? I can't just quit my job, you know. So it's
Yeah.
great that you figured that out early and was like, this ain't it. And no, I'm not about to get $1 million mortgage based on this that I hate
Yeah.
just because they're paying me good.
Yeah, no, I mean that's very valid point. Very valid point. Yeah, and I mean like that's honestly a lot of like what I started to realize, and it came from me moving where I live now. Like I live on Tybee Island in Georgia. I'm not sure if you ever heard of it, but it's a very small place. There's like less than 1,000 people that live here full time. Honestly, probably less than 500
Wow.
people. A very small
That's pretty
island,
cool.
but it's like hillbilly as fuck, you know, like it's super southern. People look like they're poor as hell, you know, like nobody really cares about material things. But like once I started to meet people, once I started to like talk to people around here, I realized they were rich as fuck. You
Right.
know,
Yeah, that's
like
exactly how it goes. You're like, for real? Wow.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I was like meeting people that I'm just like I'm looking at them and I'm just like, damn, look at this hillbilly dude. He's like he's missing teeth, you know, he's getting drunk at the bar every night, you know, like but it just like changed my perspective about what success is, you know. And don't get me wrong, like I you know, I don't want to be that drunk at the bar every night, you know. But
Yeah,
but it just kind of showed me that like I don't need the material possessions to tell the world that I'm successful. You know, like I just started to realize like I really enjoy like a very simple life. You know, like of course I want nice things. I have a brand new truck, you know, things like that, but I bought that
hmm,
brand new truck cash. Like I don't have a fucking car payment, you know.
right.
And so it's like those are the types of moves that I want to make, you know. And so like I'm willing to sacrifice like this shit right now to have that in the long run. And that's what I experienced through my first like little come up in business was I was making like $500,000 a day, 500 to $1,000 a day profit, you know, like putting it in my pockets. And I was buying the watches, you know, I was going to the bar and buying the whole bar's tabs, you know, like just
Right.
stupid shit. And but that was because I was like trying to chase that like public figure
Right.
personality, you know. And yeah, once I dropped all that, like people started actually liking me. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
then it goes to like not having those goals that you talked about, having like more goals as where you want to go as far as like having in a stock market or stocks or other ventures that you like, there's more stuff that I want to do. So then no, I don't have time to be buying watches and buying the tabs for everybody at the bar every night
yeah,
because I got some other stuff I'm trying to do here.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, no, I mean that all really came from like me moving here. Like when I moved here, I started to realize like, all right, these people are living a little bit different, just kind of showed me a different thing. Whereas like when I was in college, like no offense to the people in the Northeast, but it was a lot of kids from New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and like all those kids were very like materialistic driven, the
Hmm.
the gelled up hair, the BMWs, the nice watches,
Yeah,
and so
yeah,
like I chased a lot of that because that's what I was around, So
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting, and like I saw a lot of that from social media too. Like once I started to meet people that were big online, I started to realize they weren't so big in real life.
Yeah,
Like a lot of
yeah.
people like to look rich and not be rich, and I like started to realize I want
Mhm.
to be the opposite. Like I actually don't want people to think I have anything. Like I don't want people asking me for shit. So so I've like completely shifted everything. Like my whole mentality has changed. Like I'm focused on me. I'm very selfish, and I don't care. It doesn't hurt my feelings, if you talk bad about me because I'm selfish. Like I know what I want and I know what I don't want.
I'm trying to picture you with gelled up hair.
Yeah, I never got to that point. I always had long hair. But yeah, I mean it's all just like it's all just experience in my opinion. Like you live and just like you said, people get a lot like wrapped up in things that aren't really them, and it ends up ruining their what they really want.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
But yeah, we're really not seeing too much happening right now.
Nothing at all.
I was really thinking we were gonna clear out these lows here, and I had my MT5 open. I was getting ready to press sell if we cleared it, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody was in that cell.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, to sum up that whole conversation too, like I've really like kind of come to the conclusion that like, all right, my 20s was like I'm 27 right now, so I'm about to be 28 in April, and I just kind of like thought like, okay, my 20s was like I played a lot of games, I did a lot of things. I figured out like who I didn't want to be, and who I wanted to
Mhm.
be, things like that. My 30s is like, all right, I really need to put all that stuff into play, everything that I like, all the skills that I established, things like that, put it into play in my 30s, and then
Mhm.
retire by 40. Like that's like kind of like my long-term game plan, and that will be like I should be in a position by then to where trading is like untouchable. Like I'm
Yeah.
I'm beyond Raja. I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars a day, no problem. But at the same time, I got cash flow assets. I got real estate. I got my cleaning businesses, things like that. Maybe I sold them all by then. I don't know, but but that's like what
So,
my
I mean,
real
is
game
is
plan is.
there any plans to like have a family in there?
That's a good question. So, I mean, me and my girlfriend, we've been together since like 2017. So people always ask us like, "Oh my God, like when are you gonna get married?" Like, like all this shit. And I don't know. I mean, we're just like we're both kind of in the same mindset of like, we're trying to establish our lives. Like a lot of
Yeah.
our friends, they get married and they have kids and stuff, and they're still living in an apartment. And like, don't get me wrong, that's fine, but it's just not what I want. Like if and when that time comes, I'm trying to be set up. I don't want no stress about where money is coming from. I want to be in the house. I want to have the cars. I want to have everything that I want. Before that comes. So I
Sounded.
I
You
really
sound exactly like my son.
yeah, to sum that all up, I really think about purpose over pleasure, you know? It's
Hmm.
this very simple statement that I just constantly throw in my mind, like purpose over pleasure, you know? Might not be what I want to do right now, but I'd rather sacrifice this right now to have what I want later on. And people always tell me like, "Oh, Mike, you could die tomorrow," you know, like that's fine, you know, at least I'll be on my deathbed knowing that I laid it all out on the table, you know.
Yeah,
I didn't waste no fucking time, you know.
right, right. I would, yeah, I agree though, especially like that marriage and all that kind of stuff. That's how you get tied into doing something. You're forced to take a job that you don't want because you weren't ready.
Yep.
So yeah, no.
Yeah, and I mean
Yeah.
that's a lot of our friends are like that, you know. They're getting married and they're getting divorced and, you know, all kinds of crazy shit, you know. I'm just like, man, that's not a game I want to be in. And like, I mean, me and my girlfriend, we've been through a lot of shit, you know. I mean, we've been through the lowest of lows and the highest of highs, you know. And to me, that's like that says a lot, you know. Like I feel like we know each other, you know. You see a lot of people getting married and stuff, and you know, it's like, dude, you guys been together for a year, like you don't even know this person, you know. Like, what are you doing?
So what are you looking at on gold? What are you thinking?
You know, I was really thinking about taking those sells right there just as I broke the lows, but you know, it broke the low obviously instantly. I mean, it
Hmm.
is like a technically a high volume time right now with the NY open, but NY didn't open because of the bank holiday, so
Right.
I don't know. And it's 3 consecutive bearish candles. What's the probability of this one also being bearish? It did close below that zone though, so I don't know. I don't know. It's a little iffy.
Just trying to fake us out.
Yeah, it's a little iffy. I'm kind of in a position to where I'm like, I'd rather I'd rather not take the loss, you know. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I took the entry. I just took it. I think it should play. After it just did that little tiny push up and then came back down to break its low, I was like, all right, all right, all right. We got clean candles here. This daily candle's bearish. You know, the volume's not quite there, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays. That hourly looks good too. 4 hour nice wick fill opportunity. I think it should play out. There's enough range to the bottom. Should definitely be able to get 10 pips. And if not, it hits stop loss and it's the second loss of the year. Whoop-de-doo. Let's see, 19, 14, 15 was the entry. Yeah, so a little bit lower than I wanted it to be, but we'll see. We shall see. I mean, I think like in my opinion, it makes sense. Like it makes sense because like everything's aligned with the plan, and the stop loss is in a valid position. So I'll just mark it up just so we can see here. Stop loss 1916.51. So like basically what I mean by that is like if we come up and hit the stop loss, you know, it's going to be back in that range. It's going to be above my level here, you know, it's going to invalidate the trade idea, you know. So
Right.
yeah, and it looks like it's going to make that push for 10 pips at least. 10 pips and dip. That's the
Yeah.
goal. Oh, like right there. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it worked out. Oh, sorry, I neglected this YouTube chat for a second. Zahir from Pakistan, how you see gold, bro? Sorry, I just saw that message, man. This is how I see it, though. Anderson, I see the, what the hell? The FVG, the CHOCH, the BOS, BSO. I don't know what any of that stuff is, man. I need a lesson on that. So is this just a talk show or trading? Oh, man. John, we took a trade, so you're all good. We trade. Forzan, thanks for share the experience, no problem. Patrick, I like your point of view, thank you. Forzan, Wall Street is not closed, volatility will be low today. Wall Street is closed. Yeah, I mean, I think there's potential volatility will be a little bit low, but I mean, it just made that push pretty quick. I mean, I was within the first 5 minutes of the candle being open. I was able to secure 10 pips right there, so. But yeah, there was, I mean, this was pretty good trade idea. There was really two things that I was a little hesitant about. Number one, the three bearish candles in a row. You know, that made me a little hesitant to, you know, made me a little hesitant towards this next one, this current one that we're trading right now, or that we did trade, continuing to be bearish. So that was like one thing that kind of held me back. The second thing was it broke the low instantly. But when it did like make this little tiny push back up and then go break its own low, that's when I decided to execute, simply for the fact that, like, if this was a normal volume day, if this wasn't like a quote unquote bank holiday, I would execute on that 100%, just because of the time, the 8 a.m. time. And so it's just one of those things where I think, like, you know, you can execute on things like that. Like, if it makes sense, it makes sense. Press a button. If it doesn't, don't. You know, and for me, like, this one did. There's just like a couple little things that could have held me back. Trading community, hi, I am your new subscriber. Thanks, man. Really appreciate that. I see a couple others here too. GBPJPY XAUUSD. Thanks for subscribing. Morgan Stanley, Tro, Price, Bazinga all have $1 million plus price targets for Bitcoin in 2030. Damn. Well, good thing I got some Bitcoin. Dang, we gained a lot of traffic today. Holy shit, I think we gained like 50 subscribers today. Holy shit. Damn, that's what's up, man. We got 42 likes. I think at one point I saw like 70 people on here live with us. It's like a record-breaking day. Would everybody take the day off? So everybody had to come to my stream? All the other streamers?
It's that post in Slack in New York session. Everybody's like, oh, that must be Raja. And they jumped on.
Yeah. I mean, I do that every day. I always post in there. And I don't know. Oh, yeah. Dewey fam. That's because no one else is streaming. Yeah, there's a bunch of bums. Dave teaches, where is the short going? I mean, the target, I have the target right here at 1911.79. To be frank, I closed everything at 10 pips. Don't really want to play with anything. I've been doing that a lot lately, where I've just been securing everything at like 10, 11, 12 pips, you know, somewhere in that area, rather than letting a runner run. Because what I've noticed a lot of times, and I think it would have happened again here on this trade if I didn't secure everything, is like it'll hit 10, 11 pips or so, and then a lot of times gold will reject back to the entry. You know, so a lot of times my runners get stopped out, and I'd rather just, you know, secure the profits on the full thing, rather than, you know, try and get a little bit more, be a little bit greedy, you know. I'm here because Donvo is not active. I appreciate that, Forzan. Trading community, how much money do you make daily through Forex? I don't know. It's kind of hit or miss. So, I mean, I risk 1% on my account for every trade that I take, but, you know, the profits are, you know, kind of different. Because if we look at this, you know, 19, 13, 15, let me see where price was closed at.
Did you take that trade, Mike?
Yeah, I took it.
Nice. So I was watching it, I was on a call and I thought, oh, it looked good, you know. It broke below support and then continued down.
Yeah. Like at first, like when it first broke, I was just like, nah. And then it did a little tiny retrace, and then went and broke its own low again. And I was like, alright, fuck it, you know, I'm in there.
Yeah, it looks good to be fair. What do you think about when see the previous candle there? It's obviously started with no wick at the top. Do you consider that a bullish sign, also a bearish sign because there's no volume to push it up?
Yeah, it's kind of tricky because, you know, in these types of situations, you know, like in Don Vo and Wix 9, those two, they talk about this a lot, and that's where I kind of learned like this, like to kind of stay away from candles that don't have like top or bottom wicks, you know, because, and I just saw this happen. I think it was, where was it? I just saw this happen on one of these candles. I don't know, but anyways, like what they often talk about is like wicks, candles with no top or bottom wicks. Like there's a high probability that there will be a wick created there at some point, sometime. Whether it's you know, the current candle or the next candle or the next one, whatever that might be. So if we look at this, I'm gonna try and explain this a little bit better. But if we look at like this candle right here, you know, it had no top wick. So like those dudes would say that this candle was creating that wick, which would be like a, you know, a higher time frame wick. So if you can envision this like potentially being a 4-hour candle, you know, so like say the 4-hour candle opened up, it had no top wick, it made this push down, and then it came up in the same 4-hour candle to come create that top wick. Say that was the situation, which I don't think that was the situation. But so like they often talk about like situations like that happening. So the biggest thing that I noticed is like if a candle doesn't have a top or bottom wick, like there is a high probability that it will go and create that top or bottom wick. And so like the trade that I took a trade last week. I think it was right here. Let me see what time this was. Yep, 8 a.m. This was it. So it broke the low here, and then it went and broke the high. And this was one of those situations. There was no top wick here. It just like fell down, went and broke the low. And then I started talking about like, all right, cool. If we reject and we go break the high, there's a very low probability we're gonna come back down and break its own low again, because it hasn't created a top wick and it already created a bottom wick. So like if it comes up and breaks a high, it's probably gonna continue like it did, you know. So so I don't know. I have mixed emotions about that, and hopefully that didn't confuse the fuck out of you. But
Right. No, I found that really useful actually. It's just a different perspective because through some of Raj's videos, he shows that to be a real bearish sign, because he would say that actually there's no bullish volume in that candle, so it's not creating a top wick. Therefore, it's a strong sell bias for that particular candle, maybe even the candle after as well, because you can say actually there was no bullish volume in the market, so it drove it down. But that's a good perspective that actually at some stage it will, similar to a bit like when price gaps, when the market opens, you can always say it always fills that gap. Always at some point, similar kind of theory, isn't it? That actually at some point, whether it's a 2 hours after, it could create the top wick for that candle.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And another way to think about this is like a lot of people talk about this as like an order block, you know? So like this for example, you know, if we thought about this as like an order block, you know, that these candles would have came up and taken that order block out, or whatever the lingo is around that. So yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. You know, it's just another way to think about it. Like I agree with Raja, you know, like in this situation, to me it just screams sells, you know, and it's kind of why I ended up just taking that sell, because it's just kind of like telling me like, all right, cool, there's a lot of like bearish pressure here. And we saw a similar thing right here with GJ, with this little pump up. This candle, like this candle right here, the 7 a.m. 30-minute candle, it closed doji right at the end. Like it was pretty strong bearish throughout the entire candle, and then right at the end it pushed all the way up and closed like that. And then when the next candle opened up, it retraced a little bit, and then when it broke the highs, it gave that nice push. So like for me, that told me a lot. That gave me a very like high confidence that, you know, this is gonna have this current candle, or this next candle here, is gonna push up because of the way that this closed, you know, like it pushed up and closed weak bearish right at the end of the candle. So like if you think about that towards Raj's perspective, it had a very, very, very small top wick, but at the same time, when it closed, you know, it had that strong bullish push, you know, to close with like a very weak body. So I think it's very subjective, you know what I mean? And I think that's like the important part of like why you need to watch how price prints, how candles print, versus looking at a printed candle. Like it tells a completely different story. So like if, you know, if we would have looked at this closed without seeing how it actually printed, we would probably have that anticipation like, okay, cool, you know, there's a lot of bearish pressure here. Like there's very little bullish pressure because there is no top wick. But in reality, the next candle like pushed up, you know, 10, 15 pips or whatever it was, you know, before it came down and closed bearish, you know. So I think that's kind of the thing. It really depends on how it prints. And if we think about like how this gold candle printed, this one right here, it made this strong push towards the end to close down here, you know. So that to me goes along with what Raja would say. There's very, very, very high bearish pressure inside of that candle, because number one, like you said, there's no top wick, but at the same time it had a strong push to close bearish at the end of the candle, you know.
Yeah, like it's just, I think it's just about take those perspectives and then watch the charts and seeing what you see, isn't it? And then acting on what you have seen and experienced.
Yeah, 100%.
Because
Absolutely.
for me, when I've seen a candle with no wick, whether it bearish or bullish, usually the next candle will go in that same direction. If it closes with no wick, that's when I become cautious. But when it opens with no wick, for me, and it closes like that, then it's quite a bullish signal for me, or bearish, given what direction the candle goes in.
Yeah, 100%. And like you also, I've seen Raja talk about situations like this too. And this is where it can get a little confusing, because, you know, say for example you have a bearish candle that closes like this, and say for example we have like you know, a support level like right here, you know, and then the next candle is like this, you know, and it like has a bottom wick, you know. So like I've taken a lot of entries, you know, like buy entries as like the highs are broken, you know. So it's very subjective, because you know, like if
I love that setup. It's usually in line with the trend, isn't it? So if you've got like a bullish trend, and then you get a small bearish candle that closes with no wick at the top, or a small wick but shows there's like a slight rejection, you know that if it breaks that high, it's going to continue, or low if it's on a bearish trend. I love that setup.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, you know, obviously this is a printed candle here, so we don't really know how it formed, but if we assume like how this probably formed, it's probably like what we're talking about. It probably made a push down, and then right at the end of the candle, it ended up pushing up and closed above the level. You know, so then we can anticipate the next candle to make the bottom wick, respect the low, come break the high, continue going, you know. So it's, to me, it's, you know, to sum it all up, I think it's just very subjective. You know, it really depends on how the price actually prints, you know, how the candle actually prints.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think with trading as well, the reason why it's so subjective is because there's so many different strategies. So you'll say that actually that's bullshit. There's a high chance that it will go down, but you'd be trading a completely different strategy. You could be using fibs, trend lines, or whatnot. Whereas, you know, a lot of people in this group will trade similar to Raja, just based on price action, support and resistance.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Are you fresh out of that trade now, taking full TP?
Yeah, I secured everything right here. It closed at 1912.84. So it actually, I mean, I had my level set at 1913.08, and it pushed down to 1912.85. So I must have just like kind of, I don't know, slipped it a little, slipped my TP for the better. Dang, we got 50 likes, man. 50 likes, that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a pretty solid trade though, because the stop loss was pretty good too. Oh, we're still on the annotate. Yeah, it was only like 23 pips, so it's not too bad. My stop losses on gold lately have been rather large, I feel. Maybe 30 pips.
At what point do you start managing risk if the trade goes against you? You obviously won't. You probably wouldn't wait until it hits full TP, but would you close a portion of the trade if it broke its own high at that point, or?
So truthfully, I haven't been managing risk at all lately. I've just been letting it hit full stop loss if it's gonna hit it. And a lot of that is because like I've started to realize like after reviewing my losses that most of the time they wouldn't actually be losses. I just closed them out in a loss because like my emotions, you know, kind of get to me when it comes to the trade, you know. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I haven't managed risk in a long time. I've actually just been opening the trade, setting like my profit levels, and just like not like pretty much closing my MT5 after that. You know, just like don't even want to look at it.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I think probably because you're at that level now where you're picking high quality trades as well. I think
Yeah.
myself, where I'm still learning and maybe not picking some. I picked some good trades, but I also picked some bad trades. So in that scenario, I think I'm still trying to manage my risk sometimes. Maybe when I go 10 pips down, I'll close 50%, or if they're on the 15-minute and the lower time frames, it breaks the highs or lows, then I'll maybe close some portion, or closes bullish, bearish, maybe close a portion. But yeah, I think as you get better at identifying high probability to setups, that probably works pretty well actually, because I'd probably be the same. I think in some cases probably close too early. Whereas if you just leave it, I think it even happened to me last week. You took the same trade, but you held. I closed. I think it was on gold. It was a gold buy. It was messing around a little bit, but still, I think you held and it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I've had that. I think I had it happen twice last week, where like I was like, shit, you know, like my emotions were kind of getting to me, and I was like, kind of want to close it, and then I was just like, fuck it, you know, I'm only risking 1%, so you know, if it hits the stop loss, it hits it. The challenge with that is though, is like I took that one loss on GJ last week, and it wiped out like 3 trades worth of profits.
Yeah.
So you know, you have to be like extremely profitable, you know, like to execute like that. So that's kind of the challenge with that. But you know, the way I really look at it is like there's chapters, you know, and I think like, you know, the stage that I'm in, you know, like I still have another level that I need to reach. And so like the stage that I'm in is I'm really understanding like the setups that I want to trade. You know, so like I'm very confident, like, okay, if this happens, I'm fucking executing. I'm very confident in this setup. But I think like the next level that I need to get to is like, okay, what happens inside of those setups that I really like that turns into a losing trade, you know? So like when can my setups fail? As we know, like no trading strategy is bulletproof, you know. There's always, you know, a probability that you could lose, you know, that price could go against you. But I think that's kind of like the next level. And so like what I'm understanding now is I'm getting really confident in just trusting candles, trusting price action, things like that. But I do think like the next level that I need to get myself to is kind of like Raja's level, where it's like, all right, cool, you know, this happened, but prices started to go against me. I don't like that. Let me just close and I'll look for a better opportunity later. But I think like kind of the difference between like me doing that right now and Raja doing it at the stage that he's in is like he knows that he has the discipline to control his emotions when it comes to taking losses. And so like for me, the reason that I only focus on taking one trade per day is because I don't want to compound a loss. You know, like to me that's gonna fuck up my confidence, my mentality. Whereas Raja, you know, he doesn't care about taking 2 or 3 trades in a day, because he, number one, he knows his track record of years that he's very successful trading. You know, he's very profitable. You know, like everything is like very aligned, you know. So like for him, I think like he's at that stage where like a second chance, a second opportunity to take a trade or catch a move is valid to execute, you know. So I think that's kind of my thing. Like, you know, I'm very confident in, you know, the setups that I want to see, the trades that I want to take. And I think like the next level is probably realizing like, okay, what happens in those setups when I lose, you know? Like what do I need to watch
Yeah.
out for? But I don't know. I mean, it's who knows? Maybe I never get to that. Maybe it's just always going to be like this, you know, where it's like, you know, I've identified like where I can really win, you know. And I'm honestly really starting to feel that way now, where it's like, yeah, I think this is 9 trades on the year. I've taken 1 loss. I mean, this is the best like run I've ever had, no doubt.
Yeah. I think trading is one of them things where I think one day it just clicks for you.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's mountains of work that go on in the background, like reviewing trades and being self-aware, which is a skill in itself, and understanding why you've lost. But I think then eventually one day, I think it just comes to you and just like, obviously it's not come to me yet, but there'll just be a point where you probably can pinpoint it and go, actually, yeah, it really took a turn from that point onwards, and never look back.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like, so another thing that I've been doing, so like I did a simulation session yesterday, like just by myself, and I only used the daily chart and the 30-minute chart. I didn't even like download the other charts on the simulation, and won every trade. So, you know, to that point, you know, I think it is like one of those things where I've just started to realize like, all right, this is what I want to see. You know, I want to trade in the daily direction. I want to identify zones based on the 30-minute, and I want to take entries based on the 30-minute. As long as that happens, to me, that's the plan. It's aligning for me. Execute, you know.
Yeah, not that fear of execution is quite big for me as well. Sometimes I'm trying to get over that. It's like seeing a setup, kind of don't think about it, just execute. If it's something that you have traded before and you were confident in it, sometimes you can be a bit fearful, having, like I am in a minute, having like had quite a bit of a losing streak. I had a win on Friday, but before then it was all losses, and then took a loss today, or a couple of losses today. So it's kind of like when you see another setup, not to hesitate.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think so like I mean, I went through a period like that I think maybe it was like October, November last year. I can't remember, but I went through a period like that too, where I was taking a lot of losses, and what I did was I I would review my trade that I took, but I would wait until after the whole session played out. So say for example, I took a loss at 7:30 in the morning, at 4 p.m. Eastern time, my time. So like New York session closed essentially, I would then go back and review the chart, and I would review my trade, and then I would look at, okay, cool, I see where I lost. Now, was there another setup that I could have executed on that would have won? And I noticed that a lot of times, like I'm like, all right, if I would have just waited another hour, this would have happened and I would have won. So I started to realize that like there like I would say 9.9 times out of 10 there's always going to be a winning setup that goes alongside of your rules, everything like that. And so like that's what I started to realize is like I just need to wait for that setup. So if it's not 100% the best setup to execute on, then just don't execute. So maybe that's what you can do, Jake, is you know I know New York close for you is probably closer to bedtime for you. Um, but maybe like after London close, review, the charts, review your trade, but then also review like, is there a better setup that I could have executed on that I want to wait for next time?
Yeah, that's a good idea actually. I'm gonna add that into my journaling questions because you remember I mentioned the other day where I kind of doing the loom videos like you recommended, but I've added in just some questions to ask myself when I'm journaling so that I've got like the same output or the same content every time I'm journaling. So it's not just kind of random videos of what I think. It's just kind of like a strict criteria. But I might add that in actually. Is there a better setup that I could have taken than that one? That's a good idea.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's probably one of the biggest things that helped me out as far as my game was really just like identifying like, all right, cool, there's no need to take these like half-ass setups, there's no reason to take that. I just need to wait until this perfect setup comes. And for me, that's always like the MP specials or the slingshot moves. Like those are always the best. They always work out for me. It's like what I can see really well. I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Cheers. Thanks. That's useful.
For sure, for sure. For sure. Let me see this.
This is why I like coming on the stream, even though I don't trade New York. It's just to talk about charts and patterns and how to improve and stuff. Is still really useful.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good, to have like a community, I think, like the where you can bounce ideas off of and learn from each other's mistakes, things like that. The biggest problem with trading is like most of us, I would say probably all of us, we don't have family members or friends in our personal lives, like in our local lives that like understand this shit. So it's really hard to like like my family all the time always says like you don't talk about like problems you're going through, you don't talk about your emotions or whatever. And then I always just kind of like think in my mind like it's because I know you guys don't understand. It's not even worth me talking about like what I'm going through because I know it's unrelatable. Like I'm the only person in my family that's entrepreneur. I'm the only person in my family that trades. I mean, nobody's gonna understand if I tell them that I lost 20 grand trading Forex. They're gonna be like, Mike, you're a fucking idiot. Like stop doing that.
Yeah.
Get a job. Whatever. But they don't understand like what I'm trying to accomplish. If I tell them about like how I lost 100 grand last year because I shut down one of my businesses, they're gonna be like, dude, what the fuck? Like that's ridiculous. But like for me, it's like I know they don't understand. Like what it is that I'm
Especially
going
if, like
through.
you say, you're on a losing streak or something. It's like, well, what's wrong with you to say, I'm on a losing streak on trading. It's kind of like, why don't you give up? Try something new.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like,
Stop losing.
don't get that. Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough, man. But like you said, having the community, you post, I'm having a losing streak. Someone might say me too, or someone will say, show me what you did today. Let's see what you did wrong, and it's so much more constructive.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me see here. Oh yeah, going back to that these questions here on YouTube. Trading community, I forgot. How much money do you make daily through Forex? I honestly don't know. It really ranges. Like, it ranges from like $100 to like $500 on a very good day. But this is what I was trying to explain here is like my risk is always 1% of my account. So I'm usually risking like anywhere from like 250, or no, it's usually around $500 I'm risking per trade because of the 1% type deal. And so if you think about this, like 23 pips, $500 across that whole 1%, but I'm only like this trade, it only closed out at 13 pips. So like the profit is always different. You know, the risk is always the same, but the profit's always different. But yeah, like Forzan said here, man, it does not matter how much he earned. Stay here for the knowledge, 100%. Fahar DVS, yeah, I think that's Don Vo and Wix9. Those dudes are cool. I like their strategy. I like how they do. Let's see, why you choose 30-minute time frame. 30-minute time frame for me is just like the highest confirmation time frame with an intraday trade, you know. Yeah, so it's just like what makes the most sense to me. 15-minute time frame to me, like I used to like try and take a lot of entries based off of that, but it would just kind of like confuse me. It'd give me too much information, so I found 30 minutes the best. Dan FX, Mike, man, you are just amazing, bro. Thank you for all you do. Hey, thank you, Dan. That means a lot. Your talks keeps me going. Appreciate that. Hats off to you. Hats off to you, Dan. I've been seeing you a lot in here, so I appreciate that. Hop on the streams if you want to. I mean, hop on the Zoom if you want. More than down to jam. Forzan, will you constantly stream? Yeah, I'm usually here Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. Eastern time. I do now have like a hard stop at like 9 a.m. So I'm gonna have to stop the streams a little bit earlier than I used to, at least for the time being. But yeah, I'll be here. Gold to 1900. I don't know. I think that might be a little tough, to be honest, because if we look at this, you know, we do like it does look possible based on the 4-hour. And definitely the daily. I mean, the daily could definitely, you know, retrace a lot. But if we look at the 4-hour, it definitely looks possible. We have the wick fill for sure. That looks like a good target down to 1910. And then we have this clean candle that could come all the way down to 1900s like you're talking about. But if we bust down to the lower time frames, we have a very strong support here at 1911. So it might be a little tricky. I'd probably want to see price close below this level before we can anticipate price to continue down to 1900. That would probably be the better idea. I understand. Yeah, sorry, I don't understand that message. 4-hour flip. Yeah, I don't know what that message is talking about. Abdullah, good man is less is more. Forzan, nice target smash. Yeah, it came right into this level. This is why I trade zone to zone as well. Because as you can see, it came right into the level and it rejected. Euro USD, Ishwari. Yeah, you can send a chart on Euro USD. I'd love to check it out, but not a pair I trade, so. Oh, Anderson, oh wow, slingshot. Did you know Kim Mempin? No clue who that is. Dewey, you need to show your MT4 so people can stop asking about money. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter. You know, if I made 60 cents on this trade or 60 grand, I mean, what the fuck's the difference, you know? So, I don't know. I don't need to really do that. Not to mention, like, I'm doing this off of a MacBook, so like, parallels really slows my computer down. So like I literally open the shit, execute the trade, I close it, and like like you guys probably noticed like when I execute a trade, like it starts to like get all laggy and shit. How big your account should be in order to go full time? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, to me, like, I kind of talked about this earlier. Me and Christine, we were talking about this earlier. Like, I experienced this when I shut down all my businesses and I decided like, all right, cool, I'm just gonna focus on trading. Like, it's your emotions like kind of get a little wacky when it's the only source of income, no matter how much money you're making. So for me, I don't really honestly think that it's smart to trade full time unless you have cash flow assets that can cover your monthly expenses. You know, so like your mortgage, your rent, car payments, any of your bills, things like that. Like make sure you can survive, you know, even if you take a month of losses on trading. And like I think that's really important. If you can do that, then you know you're pretty good. For me, like I think trading is more so like a compounding tool to achieve like ultimate financial freedom. So like for me, you know, like it's like compounding a savings account, but I'm still like very like motivated and interested in growing my net worth, my income through like assets. That's why I have the cleaning business. That's also why I'm picking back up on the sales, you know, taking a sales role, because I want to make more money so I can invest into more things, more cash flowing assets. Daniel Harding, sorry Mike, how do I send a chart again? Was going to send one to get your feedback. So if you go up to this camera right here, copy chart image. Oh wait, sorry. Copy a link to the chart image. You got to copy the link. But when you go to paste it in the YouTube chat, you can paste, and then you can only paste this part right here that I have highlighted. So you have to only paste that part. If you paste the entire link, for some reason YouTube like blocks it. I realized that a little while ago. The other thing is you can you can join the Telegram group. The link's in the description. You can post a full link there, post whatever, it's fine. Anderson, did you know who ICT is? Yeah, I do know who ICT is, just from like Twitter, but that's pretty much it. All right, cool. Let me see here. We got a chart from Daniel. Let's see. Took trade, what's this? Euro US dollar took trade based on the high probability of lows being tested, had strong bearish candle, current candle created top wick, broke the lows, closed runner has no wick, current candle. Yeah, I think this is really good. This is perfect. I think you probably could have even taken a better entry right here as the lows were broken. You could have taken a better entry there probably, and yeah, that would have been pretty solid. But I mean, I like what you did here. I mean, you waited for this candle to close, which is like the ultimate confirmation. But I mean, to me, it looks like the daily candle was probably bearish. So this impulse move right there as the lows were broken would make perfect sense to me. So yeah, good trade, Daniel. Good trade. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna oh yeah, I got you. Got up slightly late today, so missed the early opportunity. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, this could potentially be a good buy opportunity for GJ here too. Break the highs, it created a nice lower wick. Break the highs. You know, as long as we can clear out these rejections here, I think you could definitely come up to 156.827 or so. But I'm gonna shut it down. Like I said, I got a hard stop here at 9 a.m. so in about 17 minutes or so. So I'm gonna shut it down a little early. I took the trade, not gonna take anything else. For gold, like what I would probably wait and look for at this point is for price to come below this level. You know, we come below this level, you know, break it, maybe do a little retest. You know, there's a lot of clean traffic here to the left, you know, that it can come through. But, you know, as we talked about earlier, it's MLK, Martin Luther King Day. So that might not happen. We might not have the volume in New York session to make that move happen. Could potentially just range right in this zone. Really have no idea. And then for GJ, I do think that like if it breaks the high here, it could continue, but it's rejecting pretty hard now, so I don't know that that's gonna happen. Yeah, so that's kind of it.
All right, guys. It's great trading with you all. See you tomorrow.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, everyone.
See you later, guys. See you in a bit.
See ya.
Peace out, Jake. Peace out, Christine. Peace out, Faye. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate
Yeah.
y'all. And to YouTube, appreciate y'all. Igor, good to see you as always. Man, we had a lot of growth today on the YouTube. Holy. This is definitely the biggest day on the stream. Let me just check it out real quick. Yeah, 692 subscribers right now. I think we literally gained like 60 subscribers. That's pretty crazy. So I appreciate y'all for showing up. If you haven't already, give a like to the stream. We really appreciate that. And if you are new to the stream, make sure you subscribe. We're here Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Also, I got a free Telegram group. Let me pull this up. I got a free Telegram group. You can join that. Links in the description. Hop in there. Got like 300 people in there or so. Guys trading Asian session, London session, New York session. You know, the whole shebang. I don't know why it's not opening though. Oh. Here it is. Yeah, this, oh, yeah, see, as you can see, we're getting, this is the Telegram group. Got a lot of people that joined. But yeah, this is free. As you can see, there's a lot of action in here. A lot of people posting charts. You know, this is like London session, active as hell. But yeah, so hop in there. Links in the description. And yeah, appreciate it. Catch y'all later. Like the stream, subscribe to the channel, and join the Telegram. Anderson, no Discord, Telegram only. Peace out, everybody. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Good session.